Master Jedi Skywalker here. I wanted to do a video on how I clear Phase 2 of the tank, the last part of Phase 2, and clear all of Phase 3. The tank was at 7% here on Phase 2, and it took a while to get to this point, so I wanted to start the video right here. The most important thing, I'm going to speak about a lot of things in here, but the most important thing I'm doing right now is I made sure that BB-8's Illuminated Destiny is ready to go, and pretty much all the abilities, as many abilities as I can. One important thing to note when using this team is BB-8 is the weakest link. It's the most undergeared for me as well, so with Thrawn's ability here, it recovers protection. I always use it on BB-8 for the most part. That way, BB-8 stays alive. The first time that I attacked the tank, BB-8 took damage. He ended up dying a little ways into it, and it was the only time we didn't clear the tank. So I learned that lesson important very quickly. You have to keep BB-8 alive in order for this to work. So that's just one first tip here. Everyone else really has a very easy time staying alive for the most part, so it's really not a big deal. All right, perfect. Going into Phase 3 here. Now, the characters I use, it's lucky that this is the team that's good for this. I use CLS, R2, and Thrawn. All three of those are in my arena team. They're gear 12, and they have, CLS, R2, and Han Solo are all gear 12, all have the full gear 12 pieces, and Thrawn is gear 12. He only has one gear 12 piece, though. BB-8 is the weak link here. I think he's only gear 10 and has some speed mods on him. I could probably gear him out better, but it seems to work this way. So my characters are leveled up, and they pretty much have my best mods possible on them. So here we are in Phase 3. Phase 3, I can clear the entire phase, and it's just like the Rancor. It's all about removing turn meter. I don't really worry about these other droids. Again, no one's going to be a threat of dying, except for sometimes BB-8 if he gets hit by the big tank up top. But that's really not that big a deal, as long as you use Thrawn's protection to keep BB-8 alive. So here's the benefit of doing Phase 2 into Phase 3. Illuminated Destiny is up and ready to go, and it's all about keeping the turn meter down on the B2. So I'm going to do this. Whenever you have the ability to do these other secondary abilities, you always do it. But it's preferable that BB-8 is able to spread around the whatever it's called, secret intel. So here we go. This is actually a little bit of a bad start, but on R2's ability, I'll either smokescreen BB-8 since he never does attacks. It's nice to not have anybody have the main B2 battle droid counterattack. That's really where he's only ever going to take turns, if he counterattacks and gets enough turn meter that way. Since BB-8's at full health, full protection, the tank at the very top is not in threat of going right now. I'm actually going to put this on BB-8. That way, when all of my other characters attack the B2 here, he won't be able to counterattack. Luke's middle ability removes 100% turn meter. It rarely gets resisted. It's really the saving grace. So I'll use it pretty much all the time, which there's occasionally when I won't use it if the B2 is at 20% turn meter. Again, we have to keep BB-8 alive, so protection up on BB-8. BB-8 will only ever do secret intel. You'll never do anything else other than that, and then Illuminated Destiny when it's available. So while everyone is stealth, it's really easy. We're just going to keep hitting the tank. Right here, the name of the game is to remove turn meter. So as much as I'd love to do some of these other abilities, I'm just going to do his basic attack to remove at least some of the turn meter on the tank right there. All right. All these droids go. They end up dying from counterattacks and stuff. Whatever. So this is a good example. The B2 battle droid is at what 80% turn meter right now. Luke's middle ability removes 100% turn meter. We can use this far right ability to basically get to this middle ability sooner. Also, by using the far right ability, you're removing the cooldown on Illuminated Destiny by 5, and you just want that to go off as much as possible. I pretty much always fracture when it's up with Thrawn. Fracture is absolutely amazing on the tank, or at least in this case, the B2 battle droid. It's 50% slow or speed reduction, so it helps a lot. And again, R2's second ability just fuels Illuminated Destiny. Here's another good example. Han Solo is his basic removes turn meter. The tank's at just under 50%. If I use his middle ability or the far right ability, he gets turn meter, and I would rather have the tank a little bit higher turn meter when Han shoots it. So I'm going to use this far right ability, give everyone some more damage. And we're in the same exact scenario here. So I'm going to use the middle ability. Even if the B2 counterattacks Han with one attack, it's not going to be enough turn meter for the B2 to go. And then now I use the basic ability and it removes turn meter. So that was extremely unopportunistic. BB-8 just took damage there from the big tank up top, which sucks. So for the rest of this battle, I'm going to be smoke screening COS, and just hopefully he'll be taking the damage for the rest of the time. It should be no problem with this because Thrawn's going to get BB-8's protection back up pretty quickly here, as you can see. And BB-8's protection will be maxed out before the tank in the background can go again and do his big damage deal. This is a good example of the B2 droid doesn't have enough turn meter for me to want to use that middle ability. So I'm going to use the far right ability. Again, it feeds Illuminated Destiny on BB-8. And now he's at 50% turn meter. I do a quick check. I do this really quickly now, but I do a quick check of the turn meter I have on everyone else. And like Han is at 0, R2's at 0. I'm just going to remove all the turn meter right now. Plus with smokescreen up, it helps a lot because he's not going to be doing any counterattacks. This is a good example. I'm going to do the middle ability, do his far right ability because the B2 didn't have quite enough turn meter for me to really want to do his main attack. So right there, the B2 was under 50% turn meter, so Han didn't remove any turn meter and shot twice. If the B2 countered once or twice there, he would have took a turn. And that's pretty much the only way that the B2 battle droid will end up taking turns against you, is with counterattacks. So the name of the game here is to keep BB-8 alive, remove turn meter at all possible times, and just do your best to prevent counterattacks from happening. I mean, counterattacks are going to happen. It's out of your control, but with Han, there's certain circumstances where it's better to use some of his other abilities rather than risk a double counterattack with his main attack. Mainly when the tank is at like just under 50% turn meter. That's when the main attack of Han shooting twice is not removing turn meter, and if the B2 attacks you back twice, that's how he takes a turn. So this is really good. We're getting smokescreen up right when the top tank is about ready to go. We want him to fire on Luke preferably every time because Luke will just naturally heal himself with his main ability, and perfect. Shoots Luke, doesn't matter at all. Well, this is not good. Another good tip here. I could do Luke's far right ability, get back the protection, which really doesn't matter. Since he has his, whatever this is called, call to action, whatever buff right now, he has a higher potency. So I'm going to do my basic attack to have a higher chance of removing turn meter with his potency higher. And here's Thrawn. Thrawn's fracture is amazing. It's a lifesaver a lot of the time. This is a good example again of Han. I have an option of basic ability or his second ability, but Han is stealth, so there's no opportunity for a counterattack. So we're just going to do basic. Stealth is so amazing with R2-D2 smokescreen. Eventually, when I decide to give him better speed mods, he's really beefy with protection and potency and all the other goodness that he gives everyone, but he's not really too fast. I think he's 187 speed, so eventually I'll get his speed up, and I think with R2 speed up, this will become even more easier because smokescreen will constantly be going. BB-8's pretty close to full. I'm going to give this to Han. I always like to give Han a little bit of protection just in case he gets hit with the tank. Even if he gets hit by the tank and he has no protection, he'll survive it, which is fine. Okay, so we just had a perfect example. The tank was a little bit lower turn meter. I used his middle ability. Now that he counterattacked, his turn meter's higher, and Han has a good chance of removing a bunch of turn meter, which only removed it once, counterattacked twice. I bet the tank's probably going to get a turn here. And yeah, he is. So I've done, what, 12%, and the tank just took, their first turn. That's actually a really good, I think this is my best start that I've ever had against the tank. So here we go. I don't really care about these other droids. There's situations where R2-D2, since he's out of stealth, if he didn't have his middle or far right ability and he just had a basic ability available, I would actually target one of these droids. That way I don't risk the B2 doing a counterattack and getting turn meter. Again, the B2 is only ever going to go if he gets counterattacks in. So I'm going to do his far right ability. Pretty high turn meter here. When presented with Luke Skywalker in this situation, I always make him go into offensive mode because, again, his potency is higher. It's all about removing turn meter. And here we go. I'm going to smoke screen Luke. Yeah, this is going really well. Hopefully he stays in smoke screen long enough where the tank will target him. Thrawn went out, but again, Thrawn is perfectly acceptable to take damage because his secondary ability will heal up his protection, no problem. Oh, and tank took a counter attack, but Thrawn was at 100% turn meter, so he gets the fracture, and that may save us from the tank going, but no. So that one was, the par for the course. You're going to get really good runs against the tank, and other times you're going to get, bad RNG where I've had him actually take pretty much 2 turns in a row, which really sucks. A few times I've done this, I got really bad RNG, and I got it to 40% or something, and had to restart the whole process over. It does take a while, so I really try not to do that. But that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think here. I don't think there's really anything else that I can go over right now. Yeah. Well, I think I'm going to call it for a video. I'm going to stop the video here and then finish out this tank. 82% left, but I hope this helped people. I know my characters are really geared really high. My arena, this is my arena team, so everything that I have that's my best is on them. My arena team, actually, I use Jin instead of BB-8, which I think works really well under a CLS lead. This is a CLS lead team. And if you have any questions, let me know guild chat or Discord or Facebook. All right, thanks everyone, and may the force be with you.